welcome to Up the Villa podcast. Subscribe to our channel, drop this video a like and get involved in the comment section on everything that we discuss. So Jacob Ramsey is one of our own. He signed a brand new deal till 2027. Absolutely huge. He scored bangers against Arsenal, Norwich, Leeds, West Ham. He's had a great season and he's 20, turning 21. If it wasn't for that, he would be our player of the season, no doubt. But I guess he'll go down as young player of the season. He's absolutely smashed. He's had a great season. He's done so well. Ryan, thoughts? Buzzing?
Yes, absolutely. Following the footsteps of Emi Martinez and Matty Cash in committing to the project, really. So it's great to tie him in. Last season, I must admit, I didn't really know what he was all about, really. I struggled to see his role in his position and what type of midfielder he was. But this season, oh my God, he's just come alive. The driving runs from midfield are absolutely fantastic. And, we lost one of our own in the summer, didn't we? And Jacob Ramsey has stepped up to the plate and he's now the boy, isn't he? 20 years old. He's got 6 Premier League goals. He's got assists. Oh, he's just getting better and better. He's a little sticky patch at the minute. It's been a long season for him. He's heavily involved. He must be up there with the top minutes for any player in our squad. So it is getting a bit. He's getting a bit tired, but he's seen it through, and it's going to stand him in good stead for next season. He's thoroughly deserved the contract, and he's 20 years old. And you look at other players that have come through our youth system. What he's doing at 20 far exceeds what anybody else has done so far. So long may it continue, and let's build around him. And the fan base are on board with him anyway. So let's stick with him and give him all the proper Villa support. So good on you, Jacob.
My favourite goal of Ramsey's this season was away at Norwich, which it was a great goal. And I think, I don't know, I feel like looking back, it's not really got the credit it deserves, really. I don't think no one really talks about it as much as probably what they should have done, because if you want to watch a goal and see what Jacob Ramsey excels at, he's dribbling and he's running with the ball and he's finishing. His finishing is really, really good. And like I said earlier, he loves the banger. But I think that goal really sparked him off. And I think he was thriving in the Gerrard sort of system at that time as well. So for me, that would be my highlight of Ramsey so far. That goal at Norwich, I just thought, what a goal. He really showed his ability and what he's all about. And we've saw similar sort of attributes from him, especially against Leeds when he went at Villa Park. He was tearing him one, wasn't he? And again, it was similar sort of goals, arriving late in the box. It was just quality. And I think you've got to look at him and think, 20 years of age, the England call-up is not going to be far away. He's committed to Aston Villa. We're going to build a team around him now. I think it's great. And I think after having such a bit of a shit season, really, not so great as it's been a bit downbeat, he has been one of the shining lights to come out of Aston Villa this season. So we'll move on from Ramsey now and we'll look ahead. Well, we look back to Leicester. So we'll get Justin and Hannah's thoughts on our performance at the weekend, and then we'll move on to Norwich and then the fans' thoughts. We've got quite a few questions from the fans on this one as well. So it'd be great if we can really go into detail on those as well. So go you then first, Hannah. Thoughts on Leicester?
Leicester, it was a bit of a forgettable game, wasn't it, if we look back? I think going into it, we were all just keen to, phrase of the weekend, stop the rot, and that's exactly what we did, and that, I hope, was the game plan. For weeks and weeks, all I've been saying is I'd love for us to get a clean sheet, and to be honest, I wasn't disappointed. Yes, we didn't score, and it's sort of an ongoing problem that it's been, I think I saw earlier, nearly 400 minutes since we've scored from open play, so that's sort of still a bit of a problem in the background. But really, we just have to take the positives, as much of a cliche as it is, because I think the first half was quite stale. I think we saw the impact of not playing any games versus playing lots of games. I feel like it didn't do either side any justice because we looked just a bit sluggish. They looked a bit tired. So the first half, I can't remember much happening at all. I think that half was a little bit more sloppy. I think, especially in midfield, we really struggled. And like Coutinho barely touched the ball. But at half time, it was like brilliant. We've still got a clean slate, and we're not having an uphill battle, which is something that we've been dealing with a lot. Second half was better, I think. I do think the game kind of came in ebbs and flows, where we had bits of possession, then it went back to them. So to an extent, maybe we sort of equaled each other out. We're kind of similar teams at the minute, aren't we, in terms of performances? So, but I do think we got a little bit of a better footing in the second half, managed to get a few more chances. I do actually think Ollie Watkins performed quite well. Yes, we didn't get a goal out of him again, but in terms of leading the line, especially with very little going on behind him, I feel like he did show a bit of spark. He was trying his best, I think, which can't really be said the same about Leon Bailey. Don't want to make, personal judgments, but I feel like that was disappointing. And when he made way, or whoever made way, maybe Coutinho for Buendia offered a lot more. So hopefully we've learnt some lessons from that game for Norwich on Saturday, that we perhaps try a couple of our more talented players, shall we say. I think Buendia should start the weekend, because even those 10 minutes, I really felt like he sparked the game. But all in all, I think we'd just be happy to have a point on the board and just to not concede a goal.
Yeah. Justin, what were you pleased with? I was especially pleased with Watkins' performance. I felt, although he didn't score and, I just felt it was a better version of Ollie Watkins, what we saw. I felt like he was really running Sanucci. He had him on the back foot, didn't he? He was sort of pinning up his shoulder. I felt like he was a little bit more direct with his dribbling and stuff. So I felt like, yes, it wasn't, a blockbuster performance from Watkins, but I did feel like there was more pleasing signs.
Yeah, I think it's the Ollie Watkins we love, isn't it? That's what he's good at, isn't he? He's good at leading the line. He's good at taking the ball on and driving forward. Yes, his finishing needs to be improved, but overall, it was an encouraging performance from Ollie. He seemed to have got a bit of his mojo back. Second half, especially, he really revelled in that little fight he had with Solitude, isn't he? So it was nice to see him. I think giving the nod over Danny Ings as well should give him that little bit of confidence as well, because the manager obviously really fancies him and rates him. But overall, it was what we wanted, really. We wanted to, I know Hannah said it, stop the rot and just get that point on the board and then move on to this next game. But overall, I think it was all right. It was okay. A point away from home, regardless of what form you're in, regardless of who you're playing, is always the first port of call, isn't it? If you don't lose away, and if you nick all 3 points, even better. But in the Premier League, nowhere's easy, is it, to go and to play? So it was nice to see the defence being really solid. I think we restricted them to only 5 attempts, and they had quite a lot more possession than us, 64%. So to restrict them, we're in pretty decent form, aren't they, at the moment? Leicester, they've got to a semi-final as well of the European competition, so they're going to be all fighting for a place in that. They have got a squad full of very good players, as we know. So it was a bit of a dread, as we said last week. We was all a little bit dreading it, thinking, could it be the fifth one in a row? And it wasn't. So that's nice to see. The Leon Bailey issue, I think he's going to stick with him for a little bit, if I'm honest, because I think he needs a run in the team. And I think second half he did improve a bit. What was nice to see with Leon Bailey was his tracking back and getting involved in trying to sort of cut them out and track back their fullbacks were trying to get forward, and he was trying to get stuck in a bit. I mean, he's nowhere near the Leon Bailey that we thought we'd signed. But I think the only way to try and get him in any kind of form is to give the bloke some minutes, and he's had 2 starts now. I have a feeling he'll get another one next week as well. So yeah, it's a work in progress, isn't it? It was nice not to lose. It was nice to get a clean sheet, and it was nice to get a point away from home, which is always welcome in the Premier League. So it's something to build on now and go forward. But overall, we obviously want to see more generally, But in the circumstances we arrived at Leicester, I think we left in a better place than we arrived. So I'm not too bad at the moment about it.
I have paid my electricity bill as well. Ryan, you fix my ring light. Right, so we'll move on then to Norwich now. It was a bit sad designing a thumbnail for this, putting Gerrard and Dino on. It's going to be a fantastic. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be great for the Villa fans to just show appreciation for Dino, because we did stick with him. You know, it wasn't toxic towards the end. So I think, you know, him walking out of Villa Park, hopefully he's still going to get those little goosebumps, because I do feel like the crowd are really going to like sing his name as well. So yeah, I do feel like he'll get a really good reception, which he deserves, you know, massively, because of what he did for Aston Villa, getting us back to where we belong. But Aston Villa do have a job to win this game, because I feel like until we sort of get to that 40-point mark now, I think the fan base will just chill, relax. We'll all get our nerve back, because it's getting a little bit twitchy. But if we all hold our nerve a little bit now, we will be fine. So Norwich, they've had a bit of a stinker in there this season. They have been pretty woeful. They've lost 22 games, won 5 all season, conceded 69 goals. They lost 3-0 at home to Newcastle, 2 shots on target. Their form in the last 5 games is actually better than Villa's. They've got 4 points from the last 5. We've only got 1, but less said about that, the better. If Norwich lose this game, they are relegated. I think that's got nothing to do with Aston Villa. That's just a tale of what their season's been. So I don't really want to look at, you know, thinking that Villa are going to relegate Norwich and all that business. But with Zimmerman and Hanley at the back, I expect more of the same from Ollie Watkins. And I am expecting a big performance from Aston Villa. This is our game now to really get on the front foot, to have a lot of creative players in our side, and to show what we are all about at Villa Park, because I think we need to put in a very big performance. And I personally feel like Emi Buendia has to start this game, along with Philip Coutinho. I think the two together will combine really well. And that's just my thoughts on Norwich. So, Ryan, how are you feeling?
Yes, like you, I am looking forward to welcoming Dino back. He's left a great legacy at the club. You know, he's written himself in the history book with his 10-game winning streak, and that's going to be in the record books for a while, isn't it? So yeah, he should get a warm applause from the whole 10 and the rest of the stadium. And like you, Luke, I am looking for a big performance. You know, we're at home. We're sold out yet again. And I think we went back to basics, didn't we, against Leicester? We wanted that clean sheet just to, as we say, stop the rot. And we did. But now stability has returned. We've got to be on the front foot. Like you just reeled off them stats. Norwich, 69 goals conceded. Oh, my God. You know, we've got to go there and attack them, and a real good display, like we did at Carrow Road. We played the 2 number 10s against them then. So, like you're thinking as well, I agree. I think we should see Coutinho and Buendia in attack. There's a lot of debate, isn't there, about is one or the other. And I know we had a bit of a sticky run where the 2 number 10s weren't working, but I do believe these two can play as a number 10. You know, they're both quality enough, and it's just inconsistency. That's the key word to our season. We've just been inconsistent and the spells, but I do feel that Gerrard will want to go down the 2 number 10 routes. I think that's the way he wants to play, and these two are super talented. Buendia has proved coming off the bench, his production in the short time that he's been on the pitch has been more so than the rest of the attackers. But I get that he's got to give Bailey minutes. He's got to give him a run. He's got to give Coutinho minutes as well to see, you know, if he can still cut it as a Premier League player over a period of time, or whether his fitness is a bit part player, because if you're going to spend that sort of money, you want to be 100% sure that he's full on it for the whole season. So I get that he's giving these guys minutes, Sanson coming in, getting minutes, but I feel like now Buendia has been very, very, very patient, and it's his time to shine against his old club as well. So there's always something to prove against your old club. So very much looking forward to this game.
I agree with you. I really agree with you about Buendia. I just think he's sat patient, hasn't he? For no, I don't know, for no reason whatsoever, because he's literally done really good all season. Really, yes, he probably got bumped off the ball a bit at the start, and he had to acclimatise, and this is going to lead me on to some of the fans' thoughts as well, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes with Bailey and Buendia. But we'll get onto them in a second. Hannah, what are your feelings towards Norwich and playing them at the weekend?
Yeah, so to start off, big nod to Dean Smith. I think I'm looking forward to seeing him walk out at Villa Park again. So that will be nice. And I think, although obviously we're going to pay him a lot of respects as the next Villa manager, I also hope we absolutely batter him. So I think we do like a big uplifting performance. Who better to do it against than Norwich? Let's be honest. No disrespect to any Norwich fans that may stumble across this video, but I'm sure they're well aware that every team looks at them as an easy target, and unfortunately that might be the case. Don't clip this if we somehow lose the game. But I think, what better opportunity for us to go out. We've got a good foundation after that point at the weekend and just put out a statement performance. I think we need another Southampton, because imagine like how good we felt after that game. We need that feeling again, just for our fan base morale, but also for the points on the board. So I think we've got to just go for it. I'm sure you guys will put out a predicted lineup episode this week, so I don't want to dwell too much on the personnel, but definitely want to see Buendia. It is a shame because I feel like he sort of hit his peak where he was really sort of starting to settle into the team, and that's when he got dropped, or maybe not use the word dropped, but got benched or rested. So we haven't really got to see him at his best for a period of time, and that really irks me. I can't remember the last time we've had such a talented player on the bench that's just been getting 5-10 minutes as a substitute. I really, really want to see him play. And if that means sacrificing Bailey, who, yes, does need minutes, but if he's not cutting it and we need an impact, then I'm sorry, you've got to play your best players. It's just the case. So I'm looking forward to it. I think hopefully it will be a good occasion and we can get a few of our attacking players on the score sheet and just boost the confidence again, because this Villa side, more than they're inconsistent, they're confidence players, and we see what it's like when they win 1 or 2 games. Like, you just feel like they come out straight on the whistle with just a little bit more of a spring in their step. So I think we need that back. And if out of the 3 games, including Leicester, we can get 7 points, I think that would be a good return.
Cool. Right, so let's go to the fans' thoughts now. We've got quite a few, and we'll just try and get through as many as we can. Some are pretty similar, so I'll try and pick out the right ones. But this one I really wanted to talk about. So Ralph up the Villa put, please could you discuss the Bailey conundrum? On one hand, we say he needs a run of games to find his form and can't judge him until then. But on the other hand, it's not an easy watch at the moment. We're also desperate to see Buendia get a start. What would you do for Norwich? So my Bailey sort of thoughts are, I just think we're just a little bit too reactive to sort of like shut him out and say, he's not good enough, or he's not good enough for Villa and he doesn't have a future for Villa. I think he's, no doubt about it, he burst on the scene, didn't he, at Villa? You couldn't get a better debut than that. The absolute rocket in front of the alt end. And he changed the game when he came on and he got injured, and then he come back and he got injured again. And now he's sort of finding his feet at Villa and probably just getting accustomed to the Premier League and playing in the first team. Yeah, I guess he's not playing absolutely amazing, but I just think with Bailey, You've got to give him just a bit of time. I don't understand the negativity towards him. I don't know whether people are expecting him to turn into like Saint Maxim overnight and just picks up the ball and dribbles past players. But I thought against Leicester, he really bought into what we were trying to do as a team in that game. That's what I thought. That's just my little bit of thought on Bailey, because I just think he just needs a bit of time. Justin?
No, I'll echo that really. I think, like I said earlier about Leicester, he did seem to do more defensive work. I do get the feeling that Gerrard sort of put his arm around Bailey a little bit in the last break we had, because as I say, he has started the last 2 games, I think, now, and he played full game against Leicester as well. So he kept him on for a reason, to get minutes into his legs, maybe to give him that little bit of confidence that he has got a part to play at the club. And with Norwich on the horizon, I think every single attacking player currently in that Villa squad will be praying for a start against Norwich on Saturday. I'm not disrespecting Norwich by saying that, but the stats are there, aren't they? They've away from home, they've only got 9 points. They've conceded 35 goals in 16 games. So, we should be looking to take them to the cleaners on Saturday. That's what all them players will be looking to do. So they'll all want to start that game. And Bailey coming off the back of 2 starts with a home game against the team that's rock bottom, he'll be licking his lips, and so he should be, because that's a prime opportunity for him to show everybody what he's got. So I hope he gets another start. I really do, regardless of whoever starts around him. I want to see him start. I want to see him score. I want to see him, God knows what a goal could do for the kid. If he scored in the first 10, 15 minutes, and the whole ground goes up, it could do wonders for him. You could see him then all of a sudden ripping him apart, just taking him on. His pace, he's amazing. You can see he's got a trick in him. He hasn't built that reputation from nothing. He came. We were all absolutely over the moon when we signed him in the summer. We was all looking at the YouTube clips like you do, and looking at his record and looking at what he brings to the club. And we was crying out for a player of that quality. And when his name was linked, it was like, wow, yeah. So to disregard him is brutal, really, because a lot of the things that have gone against him has been out of his hands. 2 decent long spells out with injury. And yes, at times maybe his attitude on the pitch hasn't looked right. But is that just because he's just so frustrated about that he hasn't been able to add what he wanted to add to the club? These players, they come with huge egos and huge personalities, and he would have rocked into Villa thinking, I'm going to rule this place. I'm easily good enough to play in the Premier League. It's where it's at, isn't it, in world football? Everybody loves Premier League. And it hasn't happened for him, so maybe he has had a lot of frustration, but I just want to see him thrive and flourish at the Villa, because a fully fit and firing Leon Bailey is a phenomenal attribute to have to any football club. So if we can get the best out of him, then that's brilliant.
It has been hard for the likes of Bailey coming in and Coutinho and the rest of the attacking, because the midfield 3 has been so disjointed and inconsistent, that word again. And we're looking for them to be creative, but we also need to get the ball to them and not give it away cheaply. And once we get that midfield 3 settled, I think you'd see these players come alive a bit more and get them on the ball. You look at the first half against Tottenham, Coutinho was world class. He was world class that first half. Second half, we was under pressure, couldn't get the ball to him, and that was it. He was out of the game. So we do need to get these players in the game and give them an opportunity, and it is difficult for them strikers / attacking midfielders at the minute.
Well, like you say, we had 35% possession against Leicester. So it's exactly buying into the point you just made, Ryan, that they're starved of the ball at times in these games. So, they have very little time on the ball to really impact a game. So we want to, like I say, against Norwich, you would think hopefully we'll dominate the ball. We'll have a lot of possession. And just getting the ball in key areas of the pitch and let him hurt them.
I mean, even when I think of Bailey, I know the kid's got ability. He's got all the ability in the world, but when I watch him, I think what he needs to do is become more of a complete team player. I mean, I've been watching Liverpool quite a lot, and I watch Mane and I watch Salah. They don't just stay up front and just wait for the ball to come to them. They're involved in that whole system of tracking back, winning the ball back, and that's what I think Bailey needs to be like for us. We need to feel like he's the complete roundy player. We don't want him to just go on a mazy dribble and get an assist and then you don't see him for the next half hour. We need to see him doing everything for the team. And I think on Saturday, I saw signs of him trying to adapt to that, which is what is going to make him be a starter in this Villa team moving forward this season and next season. And I think, yeah, I'll just say, let's just not write him off, because I think he's got a big future at Villa and I'd like to see him in this team a lot more. But I think he probably knows he's probably got to do better as well. But I think definitely, I think he's here to stay. Yeah, so that's our little bit of Bailey talk. So I think a bit of Bailey talk's been needed because he's been mentioned quite a few times. So you can have this one then, Hannah. It's from Craig. He's put, should we play 2 holding midfielders to make us more solid, allowing Coutinho, Buendia and Bailey to play together?
Yeah, it's an option, isn't it? So I think we kind of had this, we had a brief discussion on the Holy Up the Villa podcast group chat where we thought, with Nakamba back, do we go back to what Gerrard was sort of messing with when he first came in, where he had Nakamba obviously in the main defensive midfield role, but he was also using Douglas Luiz in more of the 8, and that was when the game that really stands out to me, although we lost, was the Man City game at home, where I think we saw the absolute best of Douglas Luiz and Nakamba. Yes, we lost the game, so, you know, take that as you will. But they worked really well together. And I think even like the first season back in the Premier League, when obviously we signed them both, and Dean Smith tried to play them both in the team and it really didn't work. So for a long time, I feel like fans were just like, no, that doesn't work. But in the new system and what Gerrard was trying to do, I think it worked. And those were some of the best games we played under Gerrard. So I'd be more than happy, if he's fit, to have Nakamba at the back. You know, he's our most defensively minded midfielder. Will we really need 2 defensive midfielders against a Norwich side who are possibly going to be relegated this Saturday? I don't know. But whether it's just a chance to trial it and give it a shot in a game where there's perhaps going to be a bit more leeway to experiment, I don't know. But going forward, it's definitely something that I would consider, because then if you've got a really strong base in the midfield, you can then not only push forward your attacking midfield, so whether that's Ramsey or you use John McGinn in that role, you then can fit in Coutinho, Buendia, Bailey, whoever up front, and with hopes that they've got that strong core behind them. So it's something that I wouldn't mind doing. Whether it's this weekend, I don't know. But then you get the added conundrum of which midfielder are you going to drop? Because both McGinn and Ramsey have become almost undroppable for Gerrard. So that creates a whole other debate, which would probably keep us entertained on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, the similarities going into this game slightly remind me of Watford, but at home, which we lost. But I would say Norwich don't have as much pace as Watford did. We should have won that game, by the way. But I'm not disrespecting Norwich here. Aston Villa have to win this football match. There's no 2 ways about it. A draw's not good enough. We have to win and we have to turn up. And I think whatever we do, shape-wise, team-wise, we just got to win this game of football. Ryan, what were your thoughts on Tim's appearance against Leicester as well?
Yeah, sort of backed up my opinion of him when I seen him against Brighton. He looks assured, doesn't he? He looks physically able to play that position. He looks calm on the ball. Yeah, I was highly impressed with him. And could there be an opportunity that he might start this game if we do 2 defensive midfielders, Nakamba and Irabunan could pair up? But yeah, definitely some more minutes for him. See, it just gets me thinking of Chukwuemeka now, because like that Norwich game at Carrow Road, that's when he really burst onto the scene, got his assist, didn't he? But now that contract's not being signed. Irabunan's making that step up now, isn't he? So it's good. It's good to see such a thriving academy at the minute, and the lads that are doing bits on loan as well. Finn Azad, he's just picked up League 2 Young Player of the Year. Louis Barry's banging in goals. Bryce's At the plenty, it's looking good. It's looking good that these kids are stepping up. Aaron Ramsey is another one as well. He got his first professional goal at the weekend for Cheltenham. So he's looking to follow in his brother's footsteps. So, let's just keep churning these talented kids out, man. It's all good. And it's good that there is a route to the first team and they are getting minutes. And I think he's impressed Gerrard over the last few weeks. I think Gerrard's been pairing him up against Coutinho to give him a real good going over in training, and he's obviously stood up to the challenge, and Gerrard's got him in the team, so fair play to him.
I mean, my favourite Coutinho performance was Southampton, and I just think if we can get a 50% version of that Coutinho on Saturday, I think we're going to score goals. So a few more thoughts, Simons, but I'm fully expecting us to win, and we must win. Simple as that. Norwich are woeful. If we don't, we could easily get dragged into a relegation scrap. Tracy has put, will we win this one? Yes, we will. Gary Plaza, for me, we need to start Buendia, Coutinho behind Ollie or Ings this week and really put on a performance. Unfortunately, a great Villa performance relegates Norwich and Dino, but no time for sentiment. We need to finish well. AVFC for life has put, can we play Buendia? I'm fed up of asking, to be honest. So let's finish it off then. A little bit of just a general Premier League chat then where we're at. Hannah, who do you think is going to get relegated?
Are we stirring the pot a bit here? Putting our 2 pennies in. I think
no, we're not involved.
I think as we know, Norwich are probably, whether it's this weekend, sorry Norwich, but I hope it is, they'll be going down. And I have no doubt Watford probably will as well. I think it's that third spot, isn't it, that's sort of up for grabs. Burnley, of course, as we've still got to play them twice in the last month of the season of hit form. And they're playing decent, I can't knock them. And whether it's sheer, fighting for their life or whether it's something to do with Dyche leaving the club, I don't know. But I just feel like they can do it. I feel like they can survive the drop because it's Burnley. They always seem to do it. Whereas this season for Everton, I think we've touched on it a couple of episodes ago. It feels like the club is in turmoil and it's very much like Villa of 6-7 years ago when we were going down. All this discussion of baiting, has there ever been a bigger club go down than Everton? It happens. It's not very often, but it happens. And it, in a sad way, it's almost the whole point of sport is that anything can happen to anyone. Anyone can lose, anyone can win. And looking at this Everton side, although I don't think they were awful against Liverpool, I just don't think they've got enough. And their fixtures aren't easy either. And if with Burnley picking up form, they're going to have confidence, whereas Everton are just so downtrodden, and you can see it. I mean, they're bringing on Dele Alli as a substitute in the 60th, 70th minute, and it's like, what on earth are they doing? I don't think Al Ghazi's played a single minute, has he?
No.
Like, what on earth? Just everything stinks, and I just think they're going to really struggle. So I think Everton are going to be that third club to go down.
Yeah, I keep looking at it, and I'd probably agree because I just think Burnley are picking up points. I mean, the way some Villa fans talk about Burnley, they're turning into prime Barcelona, I think. But
they go on runs, don't they, Burnley? And they've done it again. Yeah,
that to be fair, it surprised me how they've turned it around.
I'm going to throw one in. I think Leeds are in big trouble. No, listen. I thought, yeah, I do, yeah. I thought they needed to win last night. I thought if they lost last night against Palace, I thought they was in deep trouble. But the point is welcome for them, and it might be the point that keeps them up. But their next 3 games, they've got Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. And they've only got 5 games left. Now, if they don't pick up anything in them 3 games, they're going to be relying on trying to get a result in one of the last 2 games this season, which by that point, it's silly season. So if Burnley can continue their form, there's nothing to suggest that's not going to carry on because they are in good form. The manager change seems to have worked. the biggest if about it is, can Everton get anything at the next few games? Because they've got a really tough run of fixtures. But if Everton can somehow get a couple of wins from somewhere, and I've got a sneaky feeling they might get something against Chelsea at the weekend at home, because Chelsea have switched off a little bit, then I think Leeds could get dragged in. And there's always a team that gets dragged in late and goes down, and that could be Leeds. So I wouldn't rule that out, especially given the next 3 games they've got.
Yeah, Ryan, who are you going for then?
I'm still thinking Everton. I did a little prediction the other day, totted up, and I actually had Burnley to go down after predicting all the wins, draws, and losses. But I agree with Hannah. They're in a bad place. They're in a bad place, and the pressure in a full house at Goodison going into them games is going to be immense for them. In my little prediction, I had Everton to go on a 4-game unbeaten run to stay up. So that in itself, after their whole season, is a big, big ask. Not impossible. They've done it before, and like we did it a couple of seasons back. But I just feel like the confidence is rock bottom, and I just don't see where the inspiration is coming from that Everton team. Just cannot see it. I remember them being in the same situation before, and it was Kevin Campbell that sort of went on a goal-scoring run. And Justin, you'll probably get this. Who was the Villa man that kept him up on the last day with that volley?
Who? Everton.
Oh, the signal's gone.
No. Go on. My Brian's gone.
No.
Ryan's gone.
I think he's struggling with his internet.
Yeah,
I
I was just looking at the Everton fixtures, and like I say, I think if they can get something from Chelsea, they go to Leicester next, who have switched off a little bit. Watford, tough, away at Watford, but Watford will be gone down by then. Then they've got Brentford and Palace, who have got nothing to play for, So they have got winnable fixtures there. So I think if they can get any kind of form together over the next 3 games, so they've got Chelsea at home, Leicester away, Watford. If they can pick up four points from those two, and Leeds lose the next 3, which I think they will, then I think Leeds could be in deep trouble.
Yeah,
Ryan's had enough.
Oh, really tough. He's off. He's gone. Right, cool. So we'll end the episode here then. We'll do our score predictions. I can't see anything other than a Villa win. Justin, if we do that phone call, we're not on that stage and we're not talking about 3 points for Aston Villa, I'm shutting this channel down.
I've just had the channel's going into liquidation.
I'm packing up.
If I get the score prediction right, then I'm going to be dancing on that stage, and you can record me. I tell you what.
Right, me 3-0. Job done. See you next season. Hannah.
That was mine as well. I'm going 3-0.
Justin.
I'm going to go 4-0. I think we're going to open the floodgates.
Okay. 4-0. So 3-0, 3-0, 4-0. We're probably going to get shithoused 1-0 again. So thank you for watching. We've tried to just bring a bit of different chat for you. We'll be back in the week for our predicted lineup episode. We'll have fan cams after the game. We'll have match reactions as well. So thank you, everybody, for watching. And I think we've got 3 mugs left on the website. So if you want one of our mugs, buy the last 3. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.